Greetings, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom, Shihatamo, peace to my gods of earths of the 5% nation, Wagwan, Sakpase, Que Pasa, what's up? Greetings, family. Welcome to another episode of Grunt TV. I'm your host, Malik Shabazz. Now, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't even going to do a podcast today because I was preparing my notes and my research for tomorrow's podcast, but I came across a little TikTok video that a friend of mine did about the white savior complex, and I said, that's very interesting because that's part of the inversion that I've been discussing. You see, in real life, white people are the ones that are killing black people, but in the movies, it's always white people trying to save black people. See, so it's in reverse. Like I said, that's the inversion. And also another aspect of it is when, and I see this like constantly. And if you pay attention, you'll probably catch it too if you haven't already. Black men in all these movies, there's always a black man saving a white person, a white woman, not a white person, a white woman, while at the same time dissing the black woman. You see? And this thing gets played over and over again. Now, I had a conversation with my father, and I was telling him that I saw this documentary called, and I recommend you watch this documentary. It's called Theaters of War. Theaters of War. And in that short documentary, I think it's only 30 minutes long. In that short documentary, this guy was doing some research on the role of the CIA in Hollywood, which we already know that CIA, they have an office in Hollywood. And he said, but what struck him the most is that since 1950, there have been over 10,000 movies that were made and supported by the CIA. Wasn't really made by the CIA, but they put their little 2 cents in. The way it works is this: I want to make a movie. I want to make a war movie, right? Say a war movie about Vietnam. So I say, I need the military to supply, tanks and weapons and planes and military gear and all that stuff, for the movie. So they say, okay, no problem. Give us a script. They give you this. They give them the script, and then they read through the script and say, you're making America. You're making America look bad. You gotta either change this or we're not gonna help you. So now, over 10,000 movies. So it's no wonder that people think that America is good and that the military is good, and when they watch these movies, they're always the good guys. Okay? Well, the same thing plays out in the whole white savior complex theme. It gets put over and over again, and then when you're young, you really don't understand these things, but you're absorbing it, and so then you come to the point where you believe that the white people are the saviors, right? So that's that. So okay, so now let me go through my thing. In fact, I entitled this particular podcast, it'll be in the title when I upload it, when the wolf hears the rabbit screaming, he comes running, but not to help. Okay, so like I said, this is not going to be a really long one, so I'm going to try to keep it short, try to keep it tight. Okay, what is the white complex ideology, the white savior ideology? Well, it is when a white person acts from a position of superiority to rescue black people or brown people. Okay, and this theme runs constantly through all these Hollywood movies, like over and over, and that's how you get people to believe the inversion, because the movies are giving you one side of the reality, but in real life it's a different reality. Okay, so and that's what it's basically all about. So this is why I said, when you don't understand that you're living in this inversion, you have a tendency say, oh, well, we got to support JFK Jr. or we do this, or you go or you waste 8 minutes on reporting about two known criminals, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, and how they're good businessmen and this and that, blah blah blah. So that's the kind of stuff that comes out. That's the way your brain deciphers this, your reality, because you're basing it on the inversion. Okay, so now we have just to name a few. I'm gonna name a few off the top. To Kill a Mockingbird, Dangerous Minds, The Help, Cool Runnings, Freedom Riders, The Soloist, Hardball, The Air Up There, Radio, The Blind Side, and Avatar. Now I want to get on The Blind Side because that's been in the news lately. Just in the news cycle. The Blind Side. I saw the movie, and if any of you out there have not seen it, maybe you should check it out, but with a critical eye. But anyway, this movie was based on a real story about this white family who supposedly adopted this brother who was slow and kind of withdrawn and quiet and can't read, but he was good at football, so they wanted to help him out, this and that, blah, 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 this and that. Okay, so that's how the movie played out. But now we have the actual brother who actually played in the NFL, and he came out with a book, because basically what happened was that when they made that movie, the family that supposedly had said that they adopted him, but in reality they didn't adopt him. What they did was they created some contracts where basically they could sign for him without his consent and to get money and all that stuff. So now this movie, according to the reports, it grossed $300 million. And he's the star of the movie. And he didn't get nothing. See what I'm saying? And he didn't get nothing. So this is what I'm saying. They come at you, like Malcolm said, the fox comes at you with his teeth showing, looking like he's smiling, but he's getting ready to eat you. And then now what we have now on the international stage, that you got a lot of Africans that are putting Putin on a pedestal. Oh, Putin this and no, Putin's we friends with Putin, this and that. I said, but you know something? You got to be careful that you don't run from the arms of the wolf into the arms of the fox. Okay? That's really important to understand, because in reality, a lot of these folks, man, they do not got your best interest in mind. Okay? And how can they? In order for them to tell the truth, they had to destroy their whole thought process of how the world is, how the world really is. And then I don't think they're ready to do that, because asking white folks to love us, to love black folks, black and brown folks, is asking them to commit suicide, and they're not going to do that. So here you had this family who made a movie about this brother, and then they portrayed him as some slow, can't read type of individual, when in reality the brother was a reader, and he studied, and he worked hard, and he was a workaholic, and he made his way. He was already all-American before the family took him in. He was already an all-American football player. But they took advantage of that, and they took money from him. They made a movie about him without giving him any money. So I'm hoping that, the lawsuit goes through, and that family gives at least 3/4, if not all, but 3/4 of the profits to that brother. So see, that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with today. Again, and this all has to do with the inversion, because if you, again, and I know I say this again, but I'm going to be repeating it over and over and over again. If you do not understand this inversion, you will never find the solutions to the problems that we seek. Okay, because we're operating upside down. Okay, so again, once you understand that you're operating upside down, like when things happen, the first thing you say is like, For example, the Maui Fowl, which I talked about briefly in episode 2. You know, people say about the Maui fire, the Maui experience, a big fire destroyed a lot. A lot of people, they say over 100 people, at least 100 right now, I think it's the count, that have died. And the first question the first thing I said to myself, oh, wow, I wonder what happened. That's what I said, I wonder what happened. But then when I started looking into it, then I came across a documentary which talked about a laser gun, that they used to start this. And the reason they did this because they've been trying to get the people off that island so they can buy it all up, so they can create a smart city for billionaires. And two of the billionaires that already have a lot of land over there is Mark Zuckerberg and Oprah Winfrey. And then she wanted to come on TV with crocodile tears like she's, oh, we're gonna help, I'm gonna donate some money because so we can help. Excuse me. So we can help rebuild. Man, get the fuck out of here. But like I said, no lie can live forever. And little by little, it's starting to come out who these people really are. We put our faith and our hopes in people like this because they got money. Oh, she's such a trailblazer, on Oprah, this and that. Man, get the fuck out of here. Let me tell you something. If you want to reach a high position in this country, in terms of politics or power in movies or whatever, you gotta submit. You gotta submit. That means that you gotta do some ill shit and you gotta keep your mouth shut. That's the way it is. But if you talk and you expose them, they're gonna come after you. Okay, they're gonna come after you no matter what. Look, you see, Muhammad Ali, same thing. What he said, ain't no Vietnamese ever called me nigga. And what did they do? They went after him. They stole 3.5 years of his life from within the ring, because they, unjustly they just took his title and told him you can't work, and we're gonna take your passport and you can't go overseas and you can't work over there, nigga, until you submit to us, nigga. But Muhammad Ali said, even if it means facing machine gun fire the next day, he said, I'm ready to die. You see, and when you have an individual that's rooted in knowledge and rooted in integrity, you can't do nothing with those people. You either destroy them, politically or culturally, like, if don't give them no moves, whatever. You put them 6 feet under, or you put them in jail, or you run them out of the country, like they did Paul Robeson. Okay, so this is a history to all this. You just got to know history. So this is what I'm saying. This is the stuff that we need to look out for, because I got to tell you, when I saw Avatar for the first time, I hesitated. I was with this woman that I was seeing, and she wanted to see it. She wanted to take her daughter because she wanted to see it. She wanted me to come, and I eventually I said, okay. I went and I saw the movie, and after the movie, two things popped into my head. One was that the story that they told was our story. Pick a country: Africa, Mexico, Central America, Latin America, the Caribbean. That's our story. The imperialists came in, that's what they did to us. Then the other part was, who became the hero? The very same motherfucking cracker that caused all that shit, that caused all that grief, and got all those people killed, all those Navi people killed. See what I'm saying? And all of a sudden he want to change sides, like dances with wolves. That's that white ideology complex. They want to save. They want to join the other side. Because I'm a different kind of white guy. So that's that's some more bullshit. And it's not to say that there are some white folks that have done that. Okay. But in terms of numbers and nah. It's not nowhere near, it's nowhere near. So again, we got to look at these things and we have to check them out and look at it critically. I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine, Black Cloud, over there down in Miami, right in the cut, in the hood, and we was talking about that, how basically, we got to teach our people to look at this inversion, a particular way in order for us to get some answers. So yeah, so that's that. That's that. So again, and then what I'm gonna do, yeah. So basically, again, we have to figure out, and it's only and it can only be done through study and research, and if you can't do it on your own, get a group, a reading group together, study group together, you know, and study this. And this is especially important for the young people, because now you might have some young people that may want to go into film, and maybe we can start rectifying some of this madness, and slowly but surely start flipping this inversion back to its proper balance. But that's a long struggle, protracted struggle, and it's going to take some time because we're dealing with the mind. And when you're dealing with the psychology of humanity, it's simple, but it's difficult, you know. Um, and I was watching this movie the other day, The Departed, with Jack Nicholson and Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know pronounce his name, DiCaprio. Anyway, there was a scene when Leonardo, at that time in the part of the movie, he was still a young boy, about maybe 11, 12 years old, and then Jack Nicholson was, he was the gangster, an Irish gangster, and he went into one of these businesses to collect some money. So he was talking to the little boy right before he left that diner or that store, and he asked the boy, "You doing good in school?" He said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Yeah, I did good in school. They call that a paradox." Sleep on that for a minute, Sleep on that for a minute, because that's heavy. You know what I'm saying? He did good in school, but he's a gangster. That's a paradox, see? But anyway, well, actually, that paradox is the inversion. They say if you do good in school, you're supposed to be doing good, but in reality, it doesn't work that way. That's why he called it a paradox. Okay? So anyway, yeah, on that note, okay, so let me see where I'm at. I just want to go through my notes really quick. To see if I forgot anything, because like I said, this is just going to be really a quick, touch. I'm gonna get deeper into this, but I just have to get on like really quick, just to kind of like set it up. I'm gonna do some more research over the weekend, and I'm gonna compile my notes, and I'm gonna come back with episode 4 of Run TV, and go into a little bit deeper. And I'm hoping that anybody that sees this podcast can get something out of it, because truthfully, that's all we can do right now, is teach and try to expose this information so that young people coming up don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. All right. So on that note, my family, as always, as I said before, at the end of every podcast, I do a little promo, a little PSA. So again, once again, remember we got we have Journey with the Griots through the Power of Storytelling, which is October 7th at American Legion, post 209 806 Northwest 1st Street, Dania Beach, Florida 33004. Okay, you can catch us on Facebook. That's Kwanzaa365.com, or facebook.com/Kwanzaa365live, or Kwanzaa365live@gmail.com. Come check us out. Okay, the first book I want to talk about that I recommend is, hold on, let me get this right, African People and European Holidays, A Mental Genocide. Okay, and this is written by Ishakamusa Barashango. This is book 2. I got book 1 in my library. I couldn't really find it at the minute, but get book 1 and book 2. This is real heavy for all you Christmas shoppers out there, and Easter and Valentine. The next one I talked about before, Iceman Inheritance by Michael Bradley, which he himself says that Europeans basically are demonic. Then we have Nile Valley Contributions by Anthony Browder. And you should definitely check this out. And the introduction is by Henry Clark. And also Dr. Henry Clark with the introduction to Iceman Inheritance. Now, anybody that knows anything about Dr. John Henry Clark, our master teacher, he would not put his name on a book that has no value to black people. So the fact that he wrote the introduction to Iceman Inheritance tells me a lot, and should tell you a lot. So, again, this white savior complex in this inverted society keeps people thinking that white folks are going to save us, and we need to get out of that. We need to snap out of that dream, you know. And then now what they do, they start watering down our leaders. You know, I'll just give you two examples. After this, I'm going to let you go. One is that I recall some years ago, my oldest sister had a dance studio. She just put it, you know, she got a space, and she had her own dance studio called Rizzo Dancing. And she asked me to do a flyer for her business, for her dance studio. And she wanted a ballerina, she wanted a hip hop break dancer, and whatever. So when I started doing the research to pull up pictures of break dancers, all I saw was either Chinese people or white people. Now I know that they're not the ones that have been doing this because I grew up in hip hop. I am hip hop, okay? But somebody who's 9 years old on the internet today looks up, types up hip hop, and sees all these white people, think that white people are the ones that created hip hop. You know? And okay, that was the other one. Now I forgot the other one. Which one the other one was? And today, white people, young people who watch these movies, they fall for the same trap. You know, on this, and they're convinced through these movies that white people need to come save them. So we just gotta be careful. That's it. We just gotta be careful with what we do, because again, I'm gonna get deeper into this. This is just like an overview, because when I saw that, I was like, oh man, you know what? This is part of the inversion. So he gave me a little clue. So I want to thank the brother for putting that out, because then he just sparked a different angle. You know, he actually helped me with my research, and now I want to go a little bit deeper into it and explain this inversion and explain it's what's the word I want to use? The damage that it does to African people and brown people, indigenous people, to their minds. Okay, so anyway, folks, my people, peace out. Don't forget, study, 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 read, 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 and don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. One love.